of you, I don't know where to start or where to stop, so I'll do my best to be brief. Just a few things that I remember and just love about getting to know Bob for the last 12, 13 years. We had first moved here, and Bob and Margaret had already sold the locker plant, but he still worked down there a lot, so I told him I'd never seen anything like that. He invited me down one day when he was working, and I watched as he butchered some hogs that day, and I was floored at, one, the amount of work it took to go from the kill into that freezer, but then how seamlessly and effortlessly this old guy back then did it. So watching that and hearing him talk about all the times that he has worked, he's definitely a hard guy, a hard-working guy. And seeing the garden that he still has at 80 years old, and knowing that all the work that goes into that, it's just always been very inspiring. But mostly he's been my spiritual leader for all this time, and I'm a changed person because Bob and I have had chances to grow together and argue with each other and apologize to each other at times, and know that God is there with us the whole time. Couple of my favorite stories. We hadn't lived here very long, and I always had back problems. My back had been bothering me, and so Bob said, well, and it was wintertime, but Bob said, well, I've got this hot tub, come out, and well, you can get in the hot tub. I was like, all right. So I'm thinking I'll come out and get in the hot tub and sit there, and on my way out, it started snowing, and I thought, well, this will be neat. So I got out there and hopped in the hot tub, and I hadn't been sitting there long at all before Bob wasn't going to miss a chance to get in the hot tub either. So he hopped in the hot tub with me, and we sat there and talked and chatted while the snow fell around us in the hot tub, and that's one of my favorite memories of Bob. And when we moved here, Chase was 18 months old, and he's older than that now, and Becca came along a little bit later. And I always loved when we would walk in the church building that Becca would just go right to Bob, and she'd just want to be picked up, and he'd just carry her around. It was always great. He still does that with those babies, but I feel like we've been a part of this family, thankfully, that they brought us along and let us be a part of their family. So thank you very much, both of you, Bob and Margaret, and the rest of the Duncans. But thank you, Bob, for everything that you've done all these years. I don't get a kiss.
They'll give you one if you want to watch out.
That was a hairy one.
Well, I've forgotten what I was going to say now. After Bob was done raising these kids at the and they didn't have the locker plant anymore, he came out and I had an opportunity to be raised up myself. And he worked with me for 3 or 4 years and is a real, true friend and a good Christian and spiritual mentor. And he just meant a lot to me in the last few years. So anyway, Bob, I appreciate all your time and trouble you spent on me. That's all.
Yeah, one other story. It really didn't have a whole lot to do with the locker plant, but I come into the locker plant one day, and Bob comes up to me, and he's just mad as all get out. He says, one of those deputies last night pulled me over and asked if I was drinking. Well, you know, Bob, whenever he would drive, I mean, there were a couple times where I'd pull into Lakin in the middle of the night, and like Lisa was saying, you never knew when Bob was going to be down there checking the motors, checking the smokehouse, or whatever. But there were several times where I'd be on the south end of Main Street and I'd see a vehicle North Bend, and it's just all over. And I'd go, all right, I got me a drink. And I get up there and I see the white bump hat, and it's Bob. And so when he was mad, and they asked me if I was drinking. And I just started laughing. I said, Bob, you don't know how many times that I thought I had a drunk. And I get up there, and it's just Bob Duncan.
Now you say Bob like Bob.
I need to add to that story. The guy did pull me over and ask me if I was drinking. But do you know why I was going down the street like that? I was out of gas. And the pickup would die and then it'd grab a hold. And I was swaying back and forth to get that gas into that gas line that went to the motor. Now that is the God's truth.
I don't know what his excuse is, the nights that I saw.
How long did it take him to come up with that one?
I don't know. You know, Bob, he'd always be looking at something over here and pick up and go this way. Look at something over here. Yeah, it gave me a thrill for a little bit. But anyhow, you know, Lisa asked me about.
Yeah, say Bob like Violet.
I don't know if I can do that
Yes, you
anymore.
can.
Especially when I'm laughing. But Violet, she was always asking questions. She, Bob? Bob? What?
Did you tell them that she was from overseas?
Yeah.
She had an accent.
Yeah, she was
English or
English, yeah, and so. Yeah. Anybody else?
If any of you guys know my grandpa, you know he's a comedian. I'll tell you a few funny things he said. One time I was like, Grandpa, you got some holes in your socks. He said, those aren't holes, those are air vents. And another time we were out working and he's like, now if you see my pants start falling, pull them up. And his favorite saying is, now you don't tell your grandma about this. Oh, I just love my grandpa and I've been blessed with him.
I thought this had finally happened.
Well, I don't really know a whole lot of funny stories, but I remember one, and it really didn't involve Dad as much as it did me and Smiley. And we used to clean up down there at the locker plant. I did the cleaning. And he'd provoke me a lot, so I provoked him every chance I got.
You? Why was I chasing you?
Well, anyways, so Smiley was chasing me one night when we were supposed to be working, and I was running up towards the front, and I turned right as I got to the door, and I didn't get stopped in time. And we both went, I don't know if you went through the door too. I went through the door, and got a big old gash in my leg from that. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was having to call Dad and tell him
We argued for about another hour.
his door was broken.
That was the front door, the entrance?
Yeah, that was the front door.
Front door.
But we did have a lot of good times down there. I can remember when Dad first started out in the business here, he had, they butchered down at the high school, and there was an old house, an old hide house out south of town on River Road where he used to store the hides and salt them. And he used to have to, there was a gut pit out there where he'd have to dump the guts and get rid of them. And he used to take me along on some of those trips before they got the actual locker plant built in town. But the thing that I would like to thank him for most is my daughters. I've got some really wonderful girls. They're good Christian girls, and I attribute that to the things that I've taught them, but I know those things because of what my dad has taught me. And just like Kenny said, he was a spiritual mentor to him. Dad was a spiritual mentor to all of us. And I think that my children definitely have the benefit of knowing the Lord the way they do because of how he raised us kids and what he taught us. And I just want to say thank you for that. Anybody else?
I don't have any funny stories to tell. I have a lot of stories, but mainly I just want to get up here, Grandpa, and tell you that you mean the world to me, and I am so glad that God blessed me to be your granddaughter. I have learned so much from you, and I appreciate so much whenever you call me, because I don't call you very often, and you'll call me and you'll say, Jamie, how you doing? Jamie, are you going to church? Jamie, how's your kids? And I need that. And I am so glad that you do that for me, Grandpa.
Anyone else? It is hard to talk whenever you have children, grandchildren, close friends that have said these things about you. Jamie, at different times, has written stories or put on tape things that melt Margaret and I's heart. We will sit with tears running down our cheeks just like I am today. She does mean so much to me. Jamie has had some very strong challenges in her life. Her first child went through a tremendous couple of years just staying alive. And she has had this to deal with all of his life. And I wish Aiden could be here today. But he is not with us because he is in a home in Tulsa to try to help him make a better life. And it is our prayer that Aiden will be able to come home and live with his family. Thank you so much, Jamie, for all that you have said all throughout the years that